Toyota just signaled something no major automaker has dared to attempt in decades. Not a luxury truck, not a tech-packed EV, but a brutally simple, ultra-affordable work pickup that goes against everything the modern truck market has become. If you've been completely priced out of new trucks and feel like practicality vanished sometime around the early 2000s, this announcement changes everything. Because this isn't just about affordability. It's about breaking a system that quietly pushed everyday workers out of the market. And the most surprising part is that this truck has existed for over 60 years. It just wasn't allowed here until now. But the reason this suddenly became possible has nothing to do with engineering breakthroughs. It has everything to do with timing, policy, and a shift Toyota sees coming long before anyone else. Long before trucks became rolling luxury statements, they were tools. Simple, dependable machines meant to haul, tow, and survive abuse without draining a bank account. While American trucks grew larger, heavier, and more expensive, Japan took the opposite path. That's where the Daihatsu Hijet was born. First introduced in 1960, the Hijet wasn't designed to impress. It was built to work within strict size and engine limits set by Japanese K vehicle regulations. Those limits forced engineers to get creative, squeezing maximum utility out of minimal dimensions. Over the next 6 decades, the truck evolved through 11 generations, refining reliability, efficiency, and real-world usability. While American pickups chased bigger cabs, taller hoods, and ever-rising prices, the Hijet quietly became a backbone vehicle for farmers, delivery drivers, contractors, and small business owners. It didn't disappear. America simply moved on without it. But the market didn't move forward for everyone. And that gap is exactly what Toyota is now targeting. Because what changed wasn't demand, it was access. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable for the industry. For decades, K trucks were effectively locked out of the U.S. market by safety classifications, emission standards, and regulatory gray zones. Importing one was possible, but registering and using it legally was a different story entirely. That's now changing. Recent policy adjustments, combined with reinterpretations around vehicle classifications, have created a narrow but very real opening, not for private gray market imports, but for manufacturer-supported entry. Toyota knows how to navigate regulations better than almost anyone, and the fact that Daihatsu operates as a Toyota subsidiary is critical here. This isn't just about bringing a niche Japanese truck overseas. It's about rebadging, rehomologation, and brand leverage. A Daihatsu badge might raise eyebrows in the US. A Toyota badge instantly changes the conversation. And that's the quiet controversy. American automakers could have pursued this segment years ago. They chose not to. Toyota didn't. And once you understand the truck's design, it becomes obvious why. One look at the Hijet tells you it doesn't play by American rules. There's no long hood, no aggressive grille, no fake toughness. Instead, the driver sits directly above the front axle in a cab-over layout that maximizes visibility and usable space. This single decision changes everything. Backing into tight docks becomes effortless. Navigating crowded job sites stops being stressful. You know exactly where the front of the truck is at all times. No sensors, no cameras required, just visibility. American trucks abandoned this concept decades ago in favor of styling and crash structure priorities. But in doing so, they sacrificed maneuverability. The Hijet brings it back. And when you look at the numbers, the benefits become impossible to ignore. On paper, the Daihatsu Hijet looks almost laughable compared to modern pickups. It measures just 133.7 inches long and about 58 inches wide. That's smaller than many compact sedans, yet it delivers cargo capability that embarrasses trucks twice its size. The turning radius sits around 11.8 feet. That's not a typo. Anyone who's wrestled a full-size pickup down a narrow farm road or into an alley knows how big that is. This truck turns where others get stuck. The cab-over layout frees up bed space, delivering over 6.3 feet of usable cargo length in standard configurations. The bed floor sits just 26 inches off the ground, dramatically reducing strain during loading and unloading. Over the course of a workday, that matters more than horsepower figures ever will. And all 3 sides of the bed drop down independently. Forklift access, oversized loads, flatbed functionality without modification. Jumbo cab versions trade a little bed length for interior comfort, while adding pass-through functionality for longer materials. It shouldn't work, but it does. And somehow, It stays comfortable enough to live in all day. The Hijet's cabin doesn't try to win design awards. It tries to survive abuse. Entry height sits at just over 16 inches, and doors open wide, making repeated stops easier on knees and backs. That's not a luxury feature, that's longevity. Materials are chosen for durability, not softness. Hard-wearing surfaces replace stitched leather and glossy trim. Storage is everywhere it needs to be. Clipboards, devices, cups, overhead shelves, everything has a purpose. Jumbo cab models introduce real comfort upgrades. Seats recline, legroom improves. Headroom accommodates taller drivers, even with protective gear. Modern infotainment appears only where it makes sense, with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and fleet telematics offered on higher trims. It's modern enough to manage a business, but simple enough to trust. And beneath it all sits an engine that perfectly matches the philosophy. Under the front seats lives a 660 cubic centimeters three-cylinder engine. On paper, the numbers look underwhelming. Around 46 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. But this truck doesn't weigh what modern pickups do. And it's geared for work, not speed. Torque arrives early. Gearing favors control. Four-wheel drive options include automatic engagement and full lock modes, ensuring traction where it matters most. This engine uses a timing chain, not a belt. Maintenance is simple, proven, cheap. It's not meant to impress dyno charts. It's meant to start every morning. And Toyota didn't stop at a single configuration. The Hijet lineup is shockingly deep. Flatbeds, dump trucks, refrigerated units, freezer vans, lift-equipped utility builds, even a deck van configuration that seats 4 while still carrying cargo. Agricultural variants add locking differentials and reinforced suspension. High roof trims increase interior space. Jumbo models target drivers who spend entire days behind the wheel. Safety tech appears where required, including automatic braking, lane departure warnings, and adaptive cruise control on higher trims. Stability control and traction systems come standard across most variants. This isn't a novelty vehicle, it's an ecosystem. And then there's the number that changes everything. In Japan, the Daihatsu Hijet sells for roughly the equivalent of $7,000 to $11,000, depending on configuration. Let that sink in. Full-size trucks routinely cross $50,000. Mid-sized trucks start around $35,000. Even so-called compact pickups push past $30,000 once options appear. The Hijet arrives at a fraction of that cost. For small business owners, that's the difference between expanding a fleet and not expanding at all. For contractors, it means owning instead of financing. For farmers, it means redundancy without debt. Maintenance costs stay low. Fuel efficiency approaches 40 miles per gallon. This isn't just affordable to buy, it's affordable to own. And that's exactly why it's dangerous to the current market. The Daihatsu Hijet isn't trying to replace American trucks. It's exposing what they stopped being. A simple, honest tool built around function, not image. Whether it arrives wearing a Daihatsu badge or a Toyota emblem, it represents a question the industry hasn't answered in decades. Do buyers still want practical trucks? Or have they been given no alternative? Toyota clearly believes the answer is waiting. And this won't stop here, because if you want something larger but still radically affordable, Toyota already has another plan in motion, the Hilux Champ. That truck might be the next piece that reshapes the entire pickup landscape, and once that happens, there's no going back.